Welcome in TikTok. Oh, we don't have TikTok at the moment. I need to leave. I'm about to say leave a comment. I need to put on our story to inform our TikTok lovelies of what's going on. But to those of you who typically connect with us on TikTok, we are banned from TikTok until the 20th, on live rather specifically. So we still will be conducting our show every night. But if you typically tap in and choose the TikTok perspective for the collective, it will no longer show up there because we're not broadcasting live up there until the 20th. So meet us on YouTube and TikTok. I mean, meet us on YouTube and Instagram. Goddamn. But welcome in to all of you who are new. Welcome back to all of you who are true to the Crystaline Mars show. I am your co-host, Mrs. Duüblé Jones. I am the lady with the stones to come here and to leave us alone. And I'm a spiritual guide to assist you in this life in any way that I can. So head over to CrystalineMars.com and take advantage of our 20% off sale for all of our spiritual services and personal rituals while they last. Thank y'all so much for your orders that you place. Thank y'all so much for the bookings. Thank y'all so much for the love, for the support that you show in every way you choose to do so, including meeting us here on the nightly basis or whenever you choose to. And I send what you send back times 10. So I send all of the love, all of the good vibes. And even to our I spies, our monitoring spirits, whatever you send this way, I send it back. So just be very intentional, okay? Don't be third dimensional, okay? Because it's very real out here in these streets. And if you don't want no smoke, don't blow none, right? So that's what we got. What else we got? Meet us on all social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook. Our handle is at Crystaline Mars. I don't know what's up. Like, my hand's been under the table. I don't know if somebody got some under the table stuff going on. Y'all know typically I do my little spiel the way I do it, and I just added a little sprinkle extra. If you know, you know. But I just said a little more than I usually do. There may be some stuff going on. We're going to get into it, okay? But anyways, here go the hands. But, yeah, I think that's it. Y'all meet us on the social media platforms, and y'all stay tuned, y'all. I was in my bag again. And I had some requests yesterday in regards to making some evil eye charm bracelets, and I made one today. I just got to get it priced, and I will upload it to the site. Super beautiful piece. It's some beautiful pieces. I have two gorgeous charm bracelets that are in queue that I will be adding tonight, as well as some more $35 necklaces for y'all. So like I said, just make checking into the website on a daily basis a ritual for yourself, or at least every 2 days or something like that. Speaking of every 2 days, we only have less than 24 hours of our 48-hour 20% off sale. So if you did not claim your piece already, and nobody did claim her, she is in some of y'all carts, but nobody claimed her yet. 20% off of this gorgeous force-filled charm copper charm bracelet and necklace set. Super gorgeous. If you want more information in regards to the properties of these crystals, check out the website. Again, it'll be 20% off, and it'll go full price at noon Eastern time on tomorrow, whatever day that is. But this is what she looks like though. And so she's still available on the website. But that's what we got, y'all. I'm Spiritual Mo said, I was on the site drooling over the new piece. I say, wait till you see these bracelets. They downstairs. Y'all gonna have to stay tuned, because I made this fire tiger's eye copper charm bracelet, and it's super, super cute. Super cute. Because, you know, tiger's eye is a very beautiful chocolatey stone. And so I paired the tiger's eye with like some shells. And so it has like that brown and like tan earthly tone. And it's so freaking gorgeous. And I added some other stones as well. But you love that. If you like that, you're going to love the piece that I have in store and the pieces that I have coming up. Like, I'm so excited. I'm grateful that I'm in this space where I'm like feeling more inspired to create. My moon is in Cancer. Not my moon is in Cancer. Oh, hell no, that is ghetto. What they say? I rebuke My Mars is in Cancer. My Mars is in Cancer. So if I ain't feeling it, I ain't doing it. Okay. And I've been feeling it lately. So I've been doing it very well. And I'm excited for us. And I'm excited for y'all to get y'all pieces. Hey, to y'all on YouTube. Y'all are in the building, but nobody left a comment. We kind of ghetto on the likes. Like, well, go on. But we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and get started for the Tarot Tea Time, You and Me time. So y'all go ahead and drop some hearts. May we synchronize our mind, heart, body, spirit for the messages that Spirit has for us here in this time and space now. I'm Spiritual Mose, and the prices and pricing. I can't wait to get some extra money. I'm gonna go dumb on your site. Ashe, and that has been our intention, is to bring because you know, in the past, before we got sideswiped and we had our massive theft situations, we had like $25 necklaces, we had $35 necklaces, we had a variety of things, but we've been rebuilding, and Duüblé is back in the building, like I said. So I'm now coming back with, you know, that variety. So we're not only coming with copper charm necklaces, we're not only coming with coils, you know, we're not only coming with $80 and $100 pieces. Like, we're coming with more, you know, smaller things, so you can bundle up and really have like a power pack, a power punch pack, where you could bundle up on a lot of things and get your bang for your buck, you know. So thank y'all. I love that for us again. Peace, Miss Jackie. Thank you so much. I am well, thank you. How are you? All right, so let's see. Hi, this is V1. All right, so I did pick up a few messages before we went live. I saw somebody take off some track shoes. Not sure if somebody ran track in high school or something like that, but what I got from that was somebody is going to stop running somebody down or chasing after something. Somebody is tired of running. Somebody is tired of running, and that somebody feels like you. And that could be running towards things, chasing things, but also running from things, okay? So let's see if we can expound on this. I'm not feeling led to pull from Fortitude first. This deck right here is calling. Okay. So let's see what we got. I'm Spiritual Mose. I remember, sis, and I'm here for the comeback. Y'all ready? I don't know if y'all ready. Because I was talking to my mom about this the other day, and we were just talking about the visions that I see and what it's going to be. And I was like, this is not going to be a comeback. This is an evolution. So we're definitely not going to stay here. It's not going to look the same, and it's not going to look like it has in the past. Like, I love that, though. And now it's like we're starting from scratch, and we're untouchable. We are untouchable. We are. And even if someone tries to touch us, they're going to burn their own selves, because we hot as fuck. We are hot. All right, so let's see. What we got for the collective? Ashe Graffiti. You said you got your cards. I saw you earlier, too. What's up? All right, so what does the collective need to know? Give me one message for the theme. So we have don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Explore it. Pay attention to the warning signs, such as physical and emotional abuse. Ignoring them can lead to long-term emotional trauma. So like I said, somebody is no longer choosing to run towards something because maybe you are seeing the drama, you're seeing the manipulation, you're seeing the toxicity, or you're feeling it in some way, shape, or form to the point where you cannot ignore it, right? Some of you, your intuition is screaming, you know, especially when you try to ignore it, it gets louder, the sounds get more clear. Some of y'all, when it comes to certain dreams, it's like you cannot run from the truth. Like, it's clear as day here. So do yourself a favor and do what your spirit is calling you to do. Rather, that is walk towards it, address it, face it, or turn the other cheek. And because this may not even be something that you're ignoring, but this may just be something that you don't need to give too much of your energy. Some of you may actually need to ignore something because it doesn't serve you to delve deeper. Like, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So it's like, let bygones be bygones. So there may be something that you just really need to move forward from. You know, maybe you've already been here, done this, got a t-shirt. You've asked questions for clarity. You maybe even received clarity, but for some reason, there may be some energy that's still trying to pull you in that direction to inquire more. And I'm just seeing somebody fan it off, like blow it off here. So let me see. Give me one more. Thank you. So we have children. Yeah, because this feels, like I said, very immature. It's like it's not serving you here, and this is not your responsibility. This could have to do with somebody who is emotionally immature or unhealed. With this children, it's like you trying to take on something that's not yours. Like you feeling like these are your children, or this is your baby, and it's not. This could definitely have to do with an adult that's just unstable here. Or adults, because we have children. So this is a couple. This is a couple people. I'm seeing somebody with locks in the center, like they have a haircut around the sides and the back, but they have hair here in the front, and I'm seeing locks. Ashe. Graffiti. Unique said, I'm no longer trying to fix my relationship. It's a done deal, and I'm at peace with it. I love that for you. Graffiti talking about, yeah, I want to come live and pull some cards with you next time I'm on here. What we pulling cards on live for, Graffiti? What's the intentions behind that? What's the intentions behind that, Graffiti? What's the purpose behind that, rather? You know? But let's see what we got here for the collective. Yes, with this children and this don't ignore it. It's just taking me back again because, like I said, don't ignore it. This somebody may be having temper tantrums or just even trying to give like silent treatment. I'm seeing for some of you as well, or you know, just complaining or pointing fingers, just trying to get a reaction from you. They don't want you to ignore it. They don't want you to know it, ignore it. And maybe they don't want you to know that they're really like just poking for a reaction or something like that. Or maybe they're trying to keep something under the table too. Because remember when I first started the live, my hands was down here. And I never keep my hands under the table. And so there's definitely maybe some under the table fishy business going on. Some people may even be inquiring about you through other people, like third party type situations, because they don't have access to you. But whole time they're curious in regards to what's going on with you. Some people have even been getting information and or visions and downloads in regards to what you have going on. It's interesting because this person or these people do, this may not be for everybody. I want y'all to take this as it resonates and leave what doesn't. But it's like this person is tapped in. Now, they may not use their access to their advantage in a way that helps them evolve and grow and be better as a being. But somebody has definitely got word, vision, dream, or download in regards to where you are or where you're going or what's coming in for you. And so they're like, somebody is on the alert. I'm seeing somebody on the alert here. We have Aaliyah playing in the background. We need a resolution, but I'm thinking about Aaliyah and Beyonce, like neck and neck. Like Aaliyah was in her prime and Beyonce was trying to come up. And there is destiny swap may be significant. Somebody may be trying to like just really imitate you or copy you in some way that's kind of like sick, or just get in the way of you walking down your path. Unique said that's how we ended our relationship because I kept trying to ask her to talk to me, but she kept stonewalling me. You know that saying, rejection is divine protection and redirection? That is facts. That is facts. Sometimes we need to get rejected so we can be protected, because sometimes we're so in love, or we're so engulfed, we're so blinded by the toxicity that, you know, like when you're close in something, you can't see it for what it is. But that moment somebody starts to reject you, that moment somebody starts to back up, it forces you into a space where now you're considering things or you're seeing things that you didn't see before. That's real stuff. And I was thinking about that too. Somebody, I don't know who this is. They have the mindset of like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Victim kind of mentality. And if that is you, I need you to shift that thing around. I need you to shift that thing around and look for the purpose that actually serves you. How did this person serve you? They could have showed you what you were worth, right? They could have showed you where you need to set boundaries. They could have showed you like how beautiful you really are. Whatever that was, positive and or negative, what did you gain from the situation? Because the moment you walk out and you move into that space of feeling like you lost it all, you're then losing in life. Everything is happening for you. So it is up for you to do your social studies, for you to delve deep and ask yourself, what was this for? What was this for? I'm letting people step on me like a doormat, but I'm getting mad. But at the same time, I ain't doing nothing about it. I'm in there. I'm still giving them the opportunity to just, you know, take advantage of me or use me or to fuck on me or whatever it is. So what you gonna do? Ashe. So thank them if anything. Thank them if anything. Somebody about to be coming up. I don't know. This feels like it's somebody who's already in your life or somebody who is going to be entering very soon. But I see an accountability buddy or accountability partner or accountability soulmate coming in where somebody is not going to let you slack. Somebody is not going to be trying to find a seat at the pity party. Somebody is going to be like, oh, you're feeling this way? Let's look at the mirror. Where's the mirror? Where's the mirror? And somebody's going to hold you accountable here. And it's going to help you in all ways. In all ways, if you open yourself up to receive the help here. Okay, which may be a little different for you because maybe you may be in your feelings, you know, and you might just want support in the way that you think you need support, right? But this is like what you think you need is not going to help you become, you know, fortified and empower, you know. It's not going to help you grow or see yourself and see your shadows here. What we got here? Because obviously we ready. We have protection again. Call back your power. Cut the cords. Soul retrieval. Protection. Then we just talk about that rejection is divine protection and redirection here. And so, and even some of y'all, we've been talking about this as well when it comes to just following your spirit, because your spirit may be calling you to reject certain things and you don't understand why. It may seem so minute. It may seem so small to the naked eye. And again, you may be so engulfed in something that you don't even realize. Just like, you know, think about one of the most toxic foods that you liked in the past or even now. But you know, when you're at a certain frequency, at a certain vibration, and you have a certain amount of knowledge in regards to certain things, but and so you like something. So let's say you like chips, you like hot fries. I loved hot fries. I was thinking about them the other day, like the Chester ones, the ones that were like soft, not the Cheeto Chester, but the other ones that were like really fries. But I'm talking about like really fries, but yeah, they look like fries. But you know, you knew that they weren't healthy. You knew that it was probably some chemicals and stuff on the back, but for the most part, your body tolerated it. You ate it, you pooped it out, you ate it again, you was good to go. It really didn't mess, it didn't, you weren't aware of how toxic it was because you were immune. You were immune to the chemicals, right? But then the moment you fast or the moment you shift to eating more clean and then you go back to it, you are able to see like, hold on, wait, I have something in my throat now, or now I'm feeling more lethargic. I'm tired. You know, I feel drained after I ate that. And it's not until you moved out of that, it's not until you raised your vibration that you see the effect that it has on you. Lovely talking about I'm eating chips. But yeah, so it's one of those things where you may be in a toxic environment, in a toxic relationship, but you don't even, you know it, but you may not know how negative it really is affecting you. So I was trying to finish my sentence, but then my throat chakra closed. Some of you may just be talking too much or trying to over explain yourself, saying too much. Somebody is saying too much or looking for closure, or waiting for a conversation to be had that is not going to be had or it don't need to be had. Ashe, Kyla. And because Kyla said, I haven't reintroduced a lot of food since my detox. The other day, Brother Logas was talking about breaking contracts for like certain family members. Like say if you have a like there is some energy between you and a certain family member or whatever that is like getting in between y'all, you can do the work and like break the contract that is in between y'all, and you can break the contract that the person has with that being. And I commented and he seconded, and I was like, you could break the contracts, you could do the spiritual work all you want for somebody, you could try to heal somebody all you want, but if they are reestablishing these connections, then your work is in vain. And so that's why spirits, even in this isolation, it is important that you find purpose in this. Reminding yourself that at the end of the day, only you can save you, only you can heal yourself. Okay? And so some of you may really need to shift the way you view your purpose here on earth, because you may very well be putting too much energy in a direction that is not going to give you the results that you think. Okay? because you may be praying for somebody. And I'm not saying don't pray for somebody, but it's like shift focus. Again, shift focus. Shift focus. Because you're spending so much energy here. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, while you're literally over here doing spell work to help break a curse, while you're literally over here doing writing prayers and doing all of these things, they are literally on the other side of the globe or in their own house up the street subscribing to that very thing by choice. Rather it's consciously or unconsciously, they're choosing to do that. So what are you wasting your energy for? It's literally a waste at this point. And some of you are seeing when it comes to certain relationship or certain things that it is what it is. Again, it is what it is. And some of y'all are like, well, I did, because remember I was talking about the author episode that my daughter was watching yesterday. And I was saying how one of the characters, it was a storm. It was a storm and the tree fell into their store and it destroyed the whole store. They knew the storm was coming. They prepared for the storm. And that's why the little boy was so confused. He was so confused because he was like, we prepared for the storm. We did everything that we knew to do to save our, to shield our business, and it still happened, And that's the thing. Whatever was not built on a solid foundation, whatever that is not in alignment, whatever is not for your wellness, it's going to be destructed this year. Period. Fucking id. And some of y'all are like, well, I've done all that. I've done all that I know to do. And at this point, because that's the thing, when it comes to cutting and clearing, cutting the cords, right, breaking contracts and things, when it comes to just internal stuff, that directly affects our relationships, as we've been talking about. That directly affects our relationships, and sometimes that can bring us closer to people. Right? Because there could have been some kind of interference. There could have been some kind of belief or some kind of attachment. Like, I know for me, I was connected to an archangel earlier in my walk. I was working closely with Archangel Michael, and he had me to the point where I was completely isolating myself from everybody. And as I now come back to this space full circle, Ashe, it's been about 4 years now since I broke that contract, but I won't talk to nobody. But I was coming from a different perspective, Ashe, so everything had to come full circle. About 4 years ago, Archangel Michael was covering me heavily to the point where I wasn't talking to anybody in my family, but I was moving more in a victim mentality. I was moving more in a victim mentality where I was like, it's me versus them. They do me no good. And I did not really see it in a way that I see it now, where I see how good they did do me, even with the ill that they brought. And I had broke that contract. And by me breaking that contract, it allowed for me to reconnect, reconnect with my loved ones. And though actually some of those same relationships that I was shielded from then, I'm now choosing to shield myself from now. I was able to show back up after I broke that contract and come together and show up and actually do my healing with that person. Though that person or those people, what they did on their time, what healing they did, what awareness they came to, that was their business. But it allowed for me to come back and to grow up, to take accountability, to choose to be different in that moment and moving forward. And now full circle, I am now seeing what it is and I'm now seeing what it ain't. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to make a conscious choice to now take a step back. And this time I'm not blaming you. I'm not pointing a finger at you. I'm not pointing a finger at me. I am just pointing a finger towards the direction that I want to go. And knowing that, like Brother Logas said the other night, there is a certain level of isolation that you have to be okay with as you evolve. And I think the most important thing that comes with that is, again, your perspective. Because a lot of us have experienced our seasons of isolation, but what was your perspective while you were in that isolation? Again, was it from a victim mentality? Are you taking accountability for certain parts? Are you understanding the energy that is at play? Or are you just blaming your family member or blaming the friend? Or are you seeing it, from a wider perspective? You know what I mean? So with this protection though, there is definitely something that you don't want in your circle. We have you see it's a ring here. And so with this ring, I'm not sure, somebody may have like rings around their eyes or dark eyes. Dark eyes here, but heavy on the leave me the fuck alone. Somebody may need a book of leave me the fuck alone ritual, CrystalineMars.com. Get you your crystal of the day, your stones of the day. We have an earth charm bracelet on the website and the force field. This is the fucking force field. Remember we talked about the force field, and the force field is a stone of the day for the stone of the 48 for 20% off. But doesn't this look like a force field? And remember a few shows ago, and I was saying that some of you have been doing protection rituals, doing protection spells, saying protection prayers. Whatever way you do, you practice your spirituality. But a lot of y'all have been doing that, and you're now wondering like, hey, why doesn't so-and-so reach out to me anymore? Why is so-and-so rejecting me now? Why is the energy weird when I walk into the building now? Why is it? Because of that protection work that you did, and you didn't know that it was going to protect you from certain things or certain people. You may have had one person in mind, but you didn't know it was a whole gang of them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 women up here. And so you thought you was just focusing on that one or those 2. And it was like, no, it's a few, baby boo. So let's see what we got here. What's up? And with this soul retrieval, again, get back to self. Go ham when it comes to really understanding yourself and your transcendence. Seriously, we have to shift focus at this time, or we will continue to repeat certain cycles. And it's going to be uncomfortable. Change is going to be uncomfortable. Especially if you're at that point now where you're like, let's say you have a niche. You have something that you feel like you're really, really good at. And I want you to really sit with this. If you find yourself at that space where you're like, I'm pretty good. Like I know the zodiacs, or I know this. I know my birth chart. I know this. I know the orishas. I know the sacred geometry. I know all of these things. I know numerology. I know. It's like, okay, now I shade to that. Now let's build upon that. What's the next level look like for you? Because if you mastered it, you wouldn't be here. If you've mastered it, you would have unlocked the code to get out the matrix. So if you're still here, then obviously it's more for you to do. So are you in a space where you're comfortable and complacent, so you're trying to stay here? Because it's like, I don't know what that next level look like. And a lot of times, sometimes rather, I'll say, because not necessarily a lot, but sometimes you may not even know what questions to ask. And so if you don't know what to ask, you don't even know what direction to go, just set the intentions and allow for it to show itself in your reality. Rather it's through a lesson, rather it's through a conversation, rather it's through something you see. And that is an opportunity for you to learn something, for you to, unpack. All right. Somebody did say send you a Apple Pay. I don't, lovely, if you're still here, what are you talking about? I don't think I got an Apple Pay. If y'all do want a live reading, y'all can send y'all love offerings in. We will be closing up. Oh, that I did see Apple Pay. So we do have a live reading here. So I'm going to be closing up in 3 minutes for the collective, and I'm going to be getting into the personal readings. All right. Y'all can send it through Cash App, PayPal, Apple Pay, or Zelle. I can't say no more. I can't say no more, baby. Lovely. I'm going to answer that question later. Ashe and my Debs. Lovely, are you still here? Whoever sent the Cash App? If so, what kind of reading would you like? Lovely, who sent the Apple Pay? My bad. Apple Pay. Apple Pay, what kind of reading would you like? General love, career? What would you like, my dear? All right, so we're done here. That's what that is. What's at the bottom of the deck, though? The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, Soul Tribe. Again, so it's more where that came from, okay? Because here we have like 7 women here, but you see how many people here are here. So with this Soul Tribe, the Great Gathering, this does feel like heavy 5th dimensional connections that are happening right now. This can be, okay, got you, baby. This can be like a virtual thing that's happening right now. As you are on your, I just heard intergalactic, so I'm not sure if somebody's been doing more astral traveling or just really trying to activate their different bodies or doing like some deep soul work, like on a cellular level here. But it does feel like it's more spiritual, non-human, earthly, soul tribe energy that's coming in for you. So that may be something that is a part of your dissolution of what the illusion of reality is and who your soul tribe is and who your family is and all of these things. You may be actually, it may be like a great awakening, okay? Because we have the great gathering here, but this great awakening, some of y'all are really about to have or already had an awakening that may be a little scary. Like, holy crap, like this is what I thought was reality, and I'm seeing that it's more to me or more to them, or there's more truth here. So I'm about to close out with our Unveiled Oracle deck. Thank y'all for y'all deck orders as well. Y'all been coming through with y'all orders. If you do want to get your Unveiled Oracle deck, crystalinemars.com. We have Unveiled as well as Fortitude available for you. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to pull one from each, Fortitude and Unveiled, and we're going to close out. What we got here? All right, so 2 came out. That's what we got. They actually helped you more than they hurt you. Reclaim your power. Rise. Great virtue. Did we not leave the show there? They actually helped you more than they hurt you. So look for the ways in which they helped you. And we have don't respond nor react. Again, ignore. Come on, closing out with the intro. Don't respond nor react. Leave them guessing. They'll be shocked by your comeback. Jaw dropped. A walking blessing. So, you know, some of y'all are literally about to teach some energy a lesson when it comes to just what's possible. Because somebody or people may have been throwing dirt on your name, not knowing that that was the soil that you needed to grow. Some of y'all may have, it may be a little challenging for you to see ahead right now. It may be really, really foggy because you are in the darkness, because you are in the soil. And so when you don't, again, sometimes you may not know what direction to go in. Sometimes you may not know what questions to ask. And in those moments, be still and give yourself what you know you need. Give yourself the essentials. What does a seed need to grow? It needs the proper environment. It needs the proper amount of sunlight. All right. The proper amount of airflow. Right. Can't be too hot. Can't be too cold in the room. And it needs the perfect amount of water. So give yourself that water. Right. Hydrate yourself. Give yourself what you need so you can stay at an optimal state. You know, the airflow, breathe. When was the last time you just really took conscious breaths on a consistent basis? Or are you just breathing shallow, just talking, walking, moving, and you never woosah until it's time to go to bed, but then that's not even conscious breathing. So breathe. Sunlight, solar energy. How are you connecting with your soul, your core? Are you getting sunlight? I get it. I don't, you know, some of you may be working at home. Like I know for myself, I don't get as much sunlight as I guess someone may say I should, right? But with that though, there are alternatives. You know, we have a red light. We have a red light which gives us the same sort of light. I'm not gonna say it's the exact same, but it gives off that same frequency, not frequency, but it gives off that same energy and charge and healing that the sun does when it first rises. So there are ways around things, but again, give yourself the essentials that you need so you may grow regardless of where you are. So you may be the best version of yourself whenever you are placed in your proper space. You know what I mean? So that's what I got for the collective. I did want to pull one from Fortitude, so I'm going to cut the deck and see what we have here. My love, you will grow along the way. Create a space of grace. Move at your own pace. This is not a race. Growth takes time. Maintain flow with the infinite universe soul energy space. Ashe. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the personal readings, and we're going to go ahead and move on. If y'all want a personal reading, y'all can send y'all live offerings in. I'm going to do first come, first serve as many as I can tonight before we move on to the spiritual lesson. Or you can book on crystalinemars.com if you want something personal 101. Of course, y'all, but if this message resonated with y'all, y'all leave some hearts down below or any emoji that resonates with you. I ain't even sip no tea. It's been that real. All right, so general for baby boo. What's your name? Queen. General for queen. General for queen. Okay, so for you, queen, I'm picking up, don't allow nobody to guilt trip you. It does feel like you already do well when it comes to setting boundaries or when it comes to standing on business. But there definitely may be some energy that comes through that tries to gaslight you or shame you for how you're choosing to move forward. But it feels like you have every reason to move the way you're moving now. The Swag Family Sierra said, hey, love, one of my spiritual gifts are rituals. And I also had a vision of smoking and Blue Lotus that I should start doing rituals, trying to see where I'm supposed to start. I would recommend booking a consultation. That's not just a cookie cutter question that I can pick apart, but it's definitely something that we need to dissect for sure. It's not just as beautiful and roses as you think it is. All right, what's up, queen? We have chemistry here. Exactly. Either they ain't gonna get it or they not. Chemistry here. So this is interesting. So your energy is hard to read. I love your energy. Like, you're very analytical and you think. You're like a thinker. When is your birthday? It's giving like Virgo, but then I'm feeling like Taurus as well, Gemini. But with this chemistry, it's like you're gonna make some people feel some kind of way because they are gonna have a hard time with reading you. Poker face, or it's like just let me get some more. Your energy is very interesting. We have uninterested. Again, poker face. You're Leo. What is your birthday though? What is your birthday? Give me your numbers. Give me your numbers. But you may have like one of your placements may be like that, like your Mercury or your yeah, I'm getting like heavy on the Mercury. Like, do you know what your Mercury placement is? If not, that's okay. But you may even benefit from a birth chart reading though, crystalinemars.com. But with chemistry and uninterested, this is like certain things are not going to it's like boring. It's like you want more substance. You're like, bruh, like this surface level stuff is surface level love, surface level conversations. Like, I want more. Like, what are we building towards? Like, what are our goals here? Like, what are we working towards? But it's something about your circle is not giving, or the people are not giving. Okay. Interesting. So we have special treatment. And we have private situation here. So, I do see you shift and focus. This could have to do with like a relationship, or this could just have to do with interest, right? It does not have to be in regards to platonic or romantic relationships, but we got special treatment and you got private situation here. So this does feel like whatever this is that is boring you, that is not interesting, it's about to be a turnaround, and your energy is about to be shifted into something else that actually like sparks something inside of you, makes you feel like a way that you've never felt before. So you might be meeting somebody new, and this could be somebody that you're in a relationship. Are you in a relationship right now? If you are in a relationship right now, this is like literally skin being shed. this year within yourself and this person. And it's like you're going to be meeting a whole new person. You said you've been celibate, so I'm assuming you're not, but that don't mean anything. But this can also be you just meeting somebody who is not your typical Joe. They're not your typical Joe. They may have a bald head. Their name may be Joe. And that may be a thing, like, I don't know, like, let's just say you're like, I don't typically date people who have bald heads, or I don't typically date, like, these kind of people, but there is something about this person that's just gonna, like, the chemistry is gonna be crazy. You're like, wow, like, I would have never thought that, you know, I would be feeling you like I am, or feeling this thing. This feels like it's a relationship. This feels like love. You said you're not in a relationship. Are you open to that? Are you open? We have happy life. So, I mean, hell, if you ain't, I think you might want to go ahead and do the work and reconsider. I want to pull from the Orishas. The Orishas coming through. But it's happy life, special treatment, private situation is like, you don't got to talk to nobody about your man, your partner, or your money, okay? But it's definitely going to be showing that you're, it just feel like you're going to get poured into. Like, heavy on you receiving your flowers, man, without having to ask for it. Without having to remind nobody. What's up? So we have Agimo. Agimo came out. He said, yeah, I haven't been entertaining anyone, though. Yeah, you'll know. It says, Agimo, the chameleon Orisha, is known for resolving conflicts by adapting and changing. His guidance encourages you to be flexible and embrace change and find harmony through adaptability. So I did pick up on that Gemini earlier, and Geminis are known for being chameleons and adapting to environments and things like that. So there may be something that you need to open yourself up to, right? Not sure if you stretch or do yoga, but that's definitely going to help you when it comes to bringing in that flexibility energy here. We have When I See You by Fantasia playing. So, I don't know. It's also given, like, if you want different, be open to different, you know, go to different places. You know what I mean? We have Oshun here, Happy Life, Sweet Life Manifesto. Check out that ritual on CrystalineMars.com, the Sweet Life Manifesto. But even just working with Oshun heavily to bring in that fertility, that beauty, that joy, that abundance, that freedom, that sweet life, that happy life. But I do see this in the cards for you, but it just does feel like, honestly, though, this is interesting because it's like, I'm not, I see a lot of this energy coming in towards like Leo season or Aries. It feels like I'm picking up on Aries and Leo. I'm picking up on Aries and Leo energy. Where this is going to kick in, where this manifestation, so I'm hearing eclipse. So around the eclipse, we're about to close out for you. All right. So we have promotion here. Birds of a feather. So this is like you being in relationships and around people that actually make you feel good, you know, that birds of a feather, like literally who have the same, you know, wings as you know, who've been doing the work here. We have, you'll never know what you're capable of unless you go all in. All right. So there may be something that you're like a little hesitant to do, but Spirit's calling for you to go ahead and give it your all because it's definitely going to be a beautiful payout here. We have Ogun here and we have Karmic Lover. So with this Ogun and Karmic Lover, it does feel like some energy from your past maybe trying to kick back up. And this can look like it's showing up through new partners or new friendships or new quote unquote opportunities that are veiled or cloaked in deception. And I do see the protection here for you though with Ogun, protecting you from this karmic energy that's just trying to come back and keep you in a cycle. So that's why it's important that you just continue to set the boundaries that you're setting, like I said, and let them say whatever they say. Dang, you didn't even give me a chance. Nope, because I already know. Nope. And so get clear on what you want. Get clear on what you want. I shared with y'all before when it came to me when I was aligning with Brother Logas. Like, I knew what I wanted. Y'all, I thought he was gonna be chocolate. I thought he was gonna be chocolate. Like, my list, my list, I was like, he's chocolate, he got waves. You know, there were certain things that he actually didn't have. But when it comes to energy though, he matched all of that. You know, and so when you know what you're looking for, when it when it tries to show up, you will be able to, you will know. Like it was men that was approaching me like, oh yeah, I'm cooking for 4th of July. We about to eat these ribs and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no, my man does not eat red meat. He doesn't even eat chicken. I don't eat that. So we're not eating that, you know. And it's not that everything that I do, my man got to do. But I just knew, like, that's not the kind of person I want. Because I'm like, bitch, if you're eating it, that means I'm eating it. If you're eating it, that means I'm eating it. You know, if I'm having sex with you, that means I'm receiving it. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to just what you want, like, just get clear on what that is. What does your partner do? What do they not do? What are you open to? And then as they come through, again, if they don't check them boxes, next, next, next. And that's how it was. It was like, how you doing? Good, I'm married. I ain't even meet Lagash yet. I'm married. No ring on my hand. I'm married. You know what I mean? And you'll know. You'll know, okay? So that's what I got for you, babe. Yeah, we got Back and Forth playing by Aaliyah in the background now. Back and Forth. Get the fuck out my face. Nope. I smell you from a mile away. Move around. So that's what I got for you, baby boo. Did anybody else want any live readings? I ain't getting no donations. And Brother Guys being here and coming here yet. I'm about to text him ready. I ain't getting no readings. Nobody want a reading? Nobody want a reading. Let me see. Ashe. I'm about to hit him with the Ready Asali. What he doing? Ready Asali. I remember I used to do that. I stopped doing it because he said he was going to relieve me at 9:30, but he been a little dirty. It's 9:40, won't it? Reading General Opal just now. Oh, so the question to Honey Ivy, you said I was wondering if you have been getting my offerings under your name. How have you been sending your offerings, Honey Ivy? You said you did. I did not get a love offering. How did you send it? I did not get it. Are you sending it to send me a screenshot. Send me a screenshot in the DMs of your confirmation that it went through, because I'm not seeing anything. I'm on PayPal right now. Let me see about Zelle. I didn't get anything from Zelle. I didn't get anything from Cash App. Let me check real quick. Yeah, I ain't getting nothing from Cash App. So send me a screenshot, okay? But that's what we got, y'all. I didn't get it. It didn't process through PayPal. So you might want to go confirm. It didn't come through to me anyway. So again, screenshot me if it does say it went through, and I can do some I can look a little deeper into that to see what's going on with that. But I have not received it. I have not received it. So that is that. But how did y'all feel about the reading for today? Like, were there any takeaways? Was there any confirmation? Queen said, I'm hoping for my next to be my husband. I'm up there, thank you. Ashe. And as long as you stand 10 toes down, it will be that. Because when you're dating with intentions to marry, that's why I said, if you are dating with intentions to marry, that means there should be certain questions that you ask straight off the gate. There should not be so what you like to do? No. So when do you see yourself getting married? Again, do you want children? How many you want? Like these questions that really matter to you when it comes to building. Are you casually dating? And you will know when a man is serious. You will know because he will say it. He will show it. And if he playing games or he like, well, I don't know, I'm just trying to just see, run to the nearest exit. And the quicker you swipe left, the quicker you will get to your husband. Okay? But you continue to, at the end of the day, work on yourself. Continue to prepare yourself for your husband too. What kind of things would you do? How would you move? How would you dress? How would you carry yourself in the house? What kind of housey things would you be cooking? Do you cook now? Like, go ahead and start moving into that energy. Go ahead and start visualizing it. Go ahead and start manifesting it. And then when the knight in shining armor start showing themselves, you'll be able to swipe. Queen said, my children grown. I don't want any little ones. I was just kind of just throwing out questions out there that would be good to ask depending on what you want, you know. So if it's not children and not shade, but if it's marriage, ask that, you know. Just ask those deep, serious questions so you can see where they are. Peace, Keisha. You said red light rocks helps skin pain and awesome. Ashe. Yep. So that's what we got, y'all. We done for the day. Y'all pretty quiet too. What's going on? I mean, we could sit here and I could just hum. I could go for a breath or two, actually. Of course, Queen. And I'm typically that person too that doesn't like, well, I won't say I don't. But there were times that I didn't like silence. Like silence would be awkward or I feel like I need to talk. And I don't do that too much now, but I do find that I do that on the show. Because I just feel like I got to keep going. And I don't allow time to just like pause because I'm like, y'all are looking at me and I got to entertain or I got to say something. And so that's why I just allowed myself in that moment just now, like to just breathe for like 2 seconds. It's okay, you know? But Ashe, Keisha talking about saying to us, girl, you know I'm shy. You know I'm shy. You know you got to catch me off guard. Don't play with me. Honey Ivy said it might be going where the send love location on PayPal. That's where I'm looking. I'm looking at the PayPal. I only have one PayPal. So again, screenshot me. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say other than show me the proof and I could then go like, because if you are sitting and if it's saying that you're processing, then we obviously need to figure out where it's going. But other than that, I can't do nothing. Guave said, hey, Duüblé, I've been on YouTube. I've been thinking about you. I was like, Guave must be busy. Life must be lifing because it's been a minute. I think this was like yesterday or the day before yesterday. I thought about you. But Ashe, Ashe, how you been? Hearts to you, Keisha. Okay, so I'm about to go ahead and about to get into the spiritual exercise. I mean, I keep saying exercise. We're gonna get into the spiritual lesson, y'all. All right. Boom. Shroom. All right, it's on you.
Peace, family.
Yes.
Today's spiritual lesson is spiritual business mistakes. Spiritual business mistakes. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a spiritual, like your business has to do with spirituality, like you got to be doing tarot readings or something with crystals or sages or herbs or anything like that. But you're just a spiritual person, right? And you're in business. Now, really, this is like kind of all business mistake. A lot of people in business in general, but I'm going to focus more on people who are spiritual, and then you're doing, business of whatever sort that you're doing. It really doesn't matter. It can be cleaning cars. It can be, I don't know, chopping down lumber or whatever your business is. But you're a spiritualist, right? You're a spiritual person. The mistake that spiritual people make in business is they bring a religious mindset to the business world. They bring a religious mindset to the business world. Now, it's okay to bring a spiritual mindset to the business world, but you run into a lot of issues when you bring a religious mindset to the business world. But because we're using spiritual terms, divinity, the universe, what have you, right? Um, Manifestations, things like that, positive vibes, whatever. Because we're using these terms, we think that we're being spiritual. No, you're just using popular spiritual terms, but you're still bringing a religious mindset. The religious mindset is the, blind faith. It's the, just believe everything's just going to work out type of concept, right? Just trust and all those type of things, right? Though that doesn't work in business, and you should know this when you pay attention to those who are the most successful in business or at any level of success in business. They don't have that religious mindset. They do not have a religious mindset, right? So, one of the biggest things I see that people make a mistake in business, and even those who who are in business for quite some time, um, is that people do not effectively use their money that they make. They do not effectively use their money that they make, especially when they have those seasons of really good sales. Yeah, we have seasons of really good sales, right? It could be at the very beginning when you first start. It could be at certain times of the year. It could be just when you just catch, a wave going or what have you, right? What I find is that people make the mistake, especially spiritual people, right? Because spiritual people, when they feel those waves, like, oh, the money's coming in, like, you get excited, you then start to believe, well, if I just keep thinking positively, it'll just keep coming in, right? And then that's mistake number one. Because then what you end up typically doing is spending the money that you just made. It's like, it's okay. It'll come back. It'll be double the next time or whatever, right? And then a lot of times it does not happen. So the money usually gets spent. And you don't pay attention to, you don't ask this question. This is what a good business person asks. Wow, I just had a big increase in my sales, in my money. Why? A spiritual mindset, but really a spiritual person with a religious mindset, I should say. A spiritual person with a religious mindset will look at it, well, because maybe I deserve it, maybe because it was just that time in my chart, or, that's just, I did such and such rituals or whatever, right? Which would all be true. Those technically are not false. Those are true, right? But that does not mean it's going to continue that way just on its own. That's not what that means, right? So understand there's usually other things in correlation. Like, for instance, most businesses do very well during Black Friday. Most retail especially. That, right? Is that in their chart? Technically it is. You could find it in their chart somewhere for every business that does well. But it just so happens that most businesses do well around that time. So it happens to be in most people's charts around that time. You see? So just because it's in your chart doesn't mean that you are like divinely like protected and chosen for this, forever success. It's like, no, you were just part of a group of many others who happened to took advantage of this part of the chart, right? So it might be Black Friday, it might be Christmas, it might be what's it called, tax season, tax returns. It might be Valentine's Day. It might be Memorial Day weekend. It might be these going back to school, right? Whatever the season is that works for your particular business, right? Is why the money is coming in. So it's important to know, well, why is the money coming in? Because if you understand why the money is coming in so hot right now, then you may also then think the next step, which is, so money coming in now, when does this season end? See, the thing is, a lot of spiritual people understand this part. There's seasons, but they only think about the seasons when they're in a bad season, when it's winter time, when it's snowing, it's blizzarding, it's hurricaning, it's tornadoing, it's earthquaking, it's firing. It's there's crazy fire, sweeping across the land, right? Like in California. Right? So like it's when there's all this damage going on, it's like it's okay. It's just for a season. Everything happens in seasons, and you understand that one day it'll be springtime, right? One day it'll be fall, right? You understand it's coming. But when it comes to the positive and you're balling out and you're winning and you're succeeding and you're reaping the fall harvest, or you're reaping the spring abundance, for some reason spiritual people with a religious mindset forget that, oh, this is a season too. And they like, no, just think in abundance, it'll last forever. It's like, no, well, if there's a season for the negative, doesn't that mean there has to be a season for the positive as well? Which means it will be summer once again. The harsh heat will come back. The harsh cold winter will come back, right? Yeah. And they end up not preparing for those seasons, and you end up getting blindsided, right? So that's another thing that is missed. Another mistake that's made with spiritual people with a religious mindset in business is that they don't take the money that they've made and they don't put it back into the business. Stop. They don't take the money that they've made and put it back into the business. Right? They take the money and put it into everything else. That's not the business. And yeah, you may, some, I like to think, most will at least, restock, as if you have merchandise, or at least restock, their business. Some people just have services, right? Which makes it even more challenging. Because when you're dealing in the world of services, it's a little more, you're more likely to just spend your money because you're like, well, what do I need to really restock in? What do I need to be? It doesn't matter what your business is, whether it's in services, whether it's in services, or whether it's in merchandise of some sort. You can always take your money and put it back into the business in some type of way, right? And you're putting it back to the business for a few reasons. One, because you don't know when the season's gonna go down, and you want to get your expansion in while you have the money to do it, because this is what you're preparing for. You put the money in, you expand, you grow, so that when the season of winter comes, there's a good chance that the winter won't hit you as hard as it would hit those who did not prepare, right? If you are reaping in the harvest in the fall, you're reaping in the harvest. You planted your seeds in the spring. You took care and tore the soil and stuff in the summer. You reaped it in the fall. Yes, one, you want to put some things to the side. You want to save some things, right? You want to save some seeds and whatnot, right? But in the fall though, you also, let's say, in the fall, let's say you do certain things with your crops where you learn how to ferment certain things. You learn how to create certain types of tinctures and soups and dishes just outside of the regular just eating dishes, but certain types of dishes and combinations with these plants and with these foods that will assist with keeping your body strong in the cold months, right? Maybe you sell off some of your harvest so that you can pay somebody to teach you how to grow other types of foods, other types of plants that you could grow maybe in the wintertime, or you can grow inside of a facility, so you're not just bound to only growing your food and your crops in the springtime, right? How many farmers, let's think about this. When you think about farming and you think about farmers, you think about land that's outside. Land that's outside, right? But when it comes to like marijuana and hemp, you can grow that outside. But when it comes to entrepreneurs, they have found ways to grow it what? Inside. There is no, for marijuana growers, there is no, you can't find any marijuana during the winter or certain months. There's always, you can find it at any time of the year, right? If you go to certain countries, right, it's outside being grown. But if you go to other places where there's winter and there's cold and then different types of weather, they find ways to grow it on inside, indoors. Right? If I was a farmer myself and I had a successful farm, I would be growing, right, expanding and stuff and expanding my land and working the crops, right, until I've mastered my land, mastered the crops, mastered the rotations, all outside. And then while I'm successful, I would then say, how do we made our money, we've sold off a certain amount, we've kept a certain amount, what can we do with some of this extra besides just storing it? Right? How could we use this extra in other ways that we don't know about? Who can we learn from that's doing like interesting things with these different food groups? How can we do an indoor facilities where we can continue to grow our crops during the winter months because no one else is really doing that? Let's do that. How are we able to grow, watermelons, naturally healthy tropical fruits, all year round? How can we do that? Like trying to find ways to expand, to grow, to upgrade your technology. The same thing if you're a person who does services, right? Let's say I'll use a massage therapist. You're a massage therapist, right? And you're doing pretty well, and you build a good clientele, and now you're fully booked. You're fully booked now. This is what most people will do, especially those who will say spiritual with a religious mindset. One, you'll be like, first you were going out there getting clients, networking, getting clients. You finally booked up, a full schedule. So then what do? You stop trying to get new clients. You say, oh, I got my clients, right? And they're divinely were given to me, and we have a divine connection, and they're going to support me. And then you went from having, let's say, a full booking of clients is 20, right? Your week is full. You have 20. And maybe next week you have 19. And maybe next week goes up to 21, 22 because of some referrals, things like that. And that goes on for a few weeks, and then it goes on to the next month, and it goes down to 19 again. Then it goes down to 15. And it goes down next week to 12. And you're like, that's okay, it'll go back up. And maybe it goes back up a little bit. It goes back up to 13 or 14, but then it comes back down to 12 again. Then it goes down to 10. You still haven't done any networking. You still haven't done any talking to people. You stop doing that, and it goes down to 8, and it goes down to 5. And you just see your business slowly, and then now you're like, I need to change something. I need to do something. Let me do a sale, right? Let me try to call some people. Let me do something new on TikTok. Let me try to do something different on social media. I haven't really been posting on social media like that. Let me do something on social media. Let me create some flyers. Let me add in a whole new twist to my massage therapy business. Maybe I'll add some what do they call it? What do the Orientals do with the acupuncture? I'll try to do some pressure point things. Maybe I'll try to add some Reiki in real quick. I'll just look up some stuff real quick on YouTube on how to do Reiki. I'm gonna throw in Reiki now, right? You're trying to now throw in things because one, you weren't diligent or continuing to grow your business or continuing to keep fresh faces coming in. That's one. You didn't pay attention to the signs when the winter started coming in, when the season started to change, right? Um, and then three, when you had the money and the time and the freedom, right, to invest in yourself, to maybe buy new types of oils that you always wanted to try, right? Um, or lotions, right? Different types of healing products, right? Maybe experiment, try to create your own because you have the money to experiment, because you have the clients to experiment to do it, right? Um, Maybe invest in taking classes in Reiki and not just looking it up on YouTube real quick, right? Going to someone who actually does, Reiki. Um, Maybe learning actual acupuncture, right? Learning these things, gaining new skills while you're at the peak. That's the time to add more skills, more services in. So then when the season changes, this is what happens. Understand, this is how you stay successful in business. When seasons change, it's not that the money goes away, it just goes somewhere else. When seasons change, it's not that the money goes away, it just goes somewhere else. Right? During the summer, the money is going to what? Amusement parks, it's going to ice cream, it's going to things that keep you cool, it's going to vacations, it's going to those type of places, right? And then when the and it's going to tourist type of spots and locations, right? And then when you're going into the fall, now it's going into what? Back to school. Now it's going into clothes. Now it's going, to things like that, right? And then you go into the winter time. Now it's going into gifts. Now it's going into presents. Now it's going, things like that, right? And then when you come back to you got Valentine's Day, it's going into love, going into relationships, and then you got tax season, right? It's going into just random stuff at that point, just all different types of retail and all different types of stuff, right? It's going into January. Also comes into what? Personal training. It's going into fitness. It's going into health. It's going into new year, new me, right? So when you understand the seasons, right? And I'm a massage therapist. I got my massage therapist business going, and I'm expanding and adding all these new things. Right? When it comes to, um, when it's sports time, when it's the fall and the sports are really heavy out, I might gear my massage therapy towards athletes. That's because that's the season that we're in, right? When it comes to and then when it comes to like Christmas times, whatever, I might then do some type of sale. But I might gear it towards creating gift cards for my services because we're getting gifts. I might focus more now on my products because people want to buy products during this time. So I focus more on whatever oils or types of different herbs or things that I'm creating for massaging, right? Or even and let's say maybe it gets and going to January, you might then what? Start going towards to gyms where because people are going to gyms, they get sore, they're going to need, massages, right? And then let's say you go into Valentine's, you're trying to get those who are looking for, you might get couple type of massages now that you're working on, right? And then maybe during the summer there's a bunch of different things where you're doing like spirituality type of practices with it, and you're just switching and changing and doing all different types of stuff and being more adventurous because that's the time for adventure is the summertime, right? But then maybe during certain particular moments, the winter solstice, the spring equinox, things like that. That's when you get really heavy into, hey, you need to get this type of massage, this type of spirit, a chakra massage or whatever, right? You have your acupunctures, right, that you keep on the back end for those and that might be your high ticket item, high priced item, and then you got your low priced items, right? But you're always you can see people look at massage and they just think one thing, when really it's business. And when you talk about business, you build what can I add to it, how can I stack to it. And then of course everybody wants more time, they want to buy more time. Well, if you build your business and you work your craft and you keep growing your craft and keep perfecting your craft and then finding out what are people's problems when they're coming to massage that no one else can seem to solve. Whether it's massage therapists, whether it's physical therapists, whether it's personal trainers, whether it's doctors, what are the ailments that they're not being able to solve, but I can solve, right? And you have all you start using sound therapy, and you start bringing all kind of things. You start putting into the mix, right? And then you might start doing what we do here, breaking spiritual contracts, right? Doing meditations, guided meditations, all kind of things. Now you start to become. Now it doesn't matter what season it is, because whatever what season it is, you'll have a customer because you do so many things. You have so many services, so you can never not have a customer. You're a one-stop shop. You can even start training people. You can start holding classes to train people in these fields. That's a whole nother part of business now, a whole nother money source, right? So understand when it comes to your business as a spiritual person, whether it's a spiritual business itself or you're just a spiritual person, do not get caught up in the religious mindset of blind faith. You know, it's my year, it's my season. It's like no, things go up and down. It's vibration. We talk about vibrations all the time. Vibrations do this, all right, and you don't necessarily have to go down with it, but understand that if you stay on this same trajectory, it will go down. So what can you do? Instead of going down with it physically, you recognize it mentally that if I stay on this path, eventually it'll go down. So instead, let me just hop on another wave that happens to be going up. And then hop on another wave that happens to be going up when that one starts going down. And then go back to the other one that went down, it's coming back up. And you just go back and forth. That's how you stay up. That's how you stay balanced. Balance is about continuously moving. If you're staying stagnant, you will go down with the roller coaster eventually. I say. Shay, so that's today's spiritual lesson. Then we're going to Q&A and change spiritual clearings.
Ashe. Instagram was pretty quiet, but YouTube did have something for you. I don't know if it's easier for you to, if you want to look at the chat from here, or you'd rather just pull it up like that.
I'll try. Peace, family. Peace to the OGs on IG. So many people in the building. Peace over to YouTube. I forgot I got it right here. Let's see. Let me go. Here we go. I'm gonna start off strong. Hold on, let me before I even go into my Janae. My Janae, she disagrees off top. Shade to Guave. All right, so my Janae says I disagree. Feels a bit cynical, brother Logas. Expecting abundance invites abundance. You don't have to get too in the weeds overthinking about scarcity. That's when abundance dries up. Hey, everyone in the chat. I'm going to keep reading to see what else my Janae said before I go in on this. Bracing for a slow season ensures there will be a slow season, says my Janae. Says my Janae. You save because you have goals and want to be a good steward of your manifestations, not because you're expecting famine. Okay. You grow, adapt, learn to expand your. Hold on, my tab is about to go. About to. It's about to run out of abundance, in its energy source here. But this, why is this not working though? It's not. It's not. It's not doing its thing here. Let me try this plug. There we go. A tuna can share, we certainly can find Mary Jane at this time. Ashe. Anytime, yep. Peace to graffiti. We don't have the bell at the end of the show anymore. Ashe. Okay. So, to Majane, I'm not going to go in too much with this Majane. But what I will say, Majane, is that you can disagree, but you're disagreeing philosophically. You're not disagreeing out of reality. Right? You can't name anyone who is, let me put it this way. You can name plenty of people and point out to plenty of, just look at every multi-million-dollar business or company. Look at, and if you know any like local companies that are, multi six figures, right? Or just listen to any successful entrepreneur podcast. They tell you all the time about preparing for scarcity moments, preparing for famine, preparing for the ups and for the downs, preparing for losing money, preparing for being stolen from, preparing for the economy switching up and changing on you, preparing for. So though I feel, what you're trying to say, it's not cynical, it's reality. All successful business owners, none of them say, hey, don't think about the scarcity you're possibly not having. I went into entrepreneurship before I went into spirituality, and I've just never seen that concept ever talked about. I've only heard that concept only talked about with spiritual people who have a religious mindset, and I've come to find that all of those spiritual people are pretty close to broke, are pretty close to struggling, and usually are looking for some money or some help, especially, well, it doesn't even matter if it's men or women. The more spiritual they are as men or women, the more the more you see them actually begging for help or crying because the world is too tough, or they need. There's so many people that I've seen who are only thinking abundance, abundance, and then I run into them, or they reach out to me, a couple weeks later, a couple months later, and they need money, they need help, and then I help them out, or somebody else helps them out, and then they might come to some money again, and they feel abundance, abundance, and then they're like, only think abundance, and then I've told, there's people that I've tried to tell in business or in just life to prepare for this, prepare for that. Like, things might not go this way forever. They might switch up, and and they said, like, no, you can't think that way. You have to think positive. And then they end up in the same situation again because the tides have turned. I've witnessed it many times, and I will continue to witness it. While me personally, I always think about the famine. I always think about the switch up, the changing, the downturns. I always think about it, and most of the time, I'm able to thwart it because then when I think about it, I actually end up preparing for it and defeating it. Right? And that's how, any business that I create and run, that's how it continues even when the whole economy is going down. I can continue to run a business by paying attention to the downturns. No matter how well, my business may be doing at a particular time, I think about, when we were in the mall, I remember the first year we were in the mall, right? And like business was booming.
Business was booming, right? But I took a lot of that money and I put it back into the business. And I started, certain things were like booming, but I started trying other things and buying other things to add to the shop, doing different things, right? Because I knew that there was always a possibility that the things that are booming now might not be booming tomorrow, right? And there was some other competitors that started to copy me, right? Now I tried to work with them. I tried to actually build a partnership with them, but they were on some, they were really on that famine, that scarcity type of mindset where they're like, no, they don't want to work together at all because they might feel like I might, even though I was there first, they might feel like, I might take all the business or something like that, right? So I was like, fine, okay, cool. You want to do your thing, that's fine. But because they thought that the wave was going to last forever, about I saw the wave start to change in a few months later, but it was a very small change, but I could see it. So I started to switch. I had already started buying different things, and when I saw other things picking up versus the original things that were on fire, I started investing more in the new things that I had bought. The other people who were copying me were still on the old stuff. And by the time they figured out that, wait a minute, we need to do something else, they had already had so many months where they were underperforming. And then they started to panic and they started to just totally switch up their inventory. And then they ended up just closing the business altogether. While we continue to thrive, right? We had our down months, but our down months were never so down where they was like we were going to be out of business possibly. No. It was just, instead of going down like they did, down by like 75, 80%, in sales, like no, we would go down maybe only 20% because I prepared, because I thought forward, I thought ahead. I thought of the different negative possibilities. And then once we made it through that little 20% downturn, we end up going back to 100 and even going above that to 110, 120. And then it'll come down a little bit and then we go up, you know? So, not only is this based off of my reading and based off of what I've heard other people say and other business owners talk about, this is based on my own experiences as an entrepreneur for about 10 years, a little over about 10 years of entrepreneurship. So I say this as a actual businessman who's been working, for himself for quite some time. I understand this pretty well. Majane says, yes, there are seasons and cycles, but the slow seasons are nothing to be afraid or avoid. I disagree. They are very much something to be afraid and to avoid because they end up putting a lot of people out of business. That's why 4 out of 5 businesses, at least 4 out of 5 businesses, and those are the ones that are documented. We're not even talking about the ones that are undocumented. So at least 4 out of 5 businesses die within the first couple of years. So if most businesses are dying, then it's very much you should be afraid of those months, right? You shouldn't be afraid of them forever, though. You should eventually build yourself up and build up enough skills and experience to where you can take them head on, right? But when you're in the beginning stages, you should have a certain level of fear because fear makes you alert. I talked about this before. Negative emotions, quote unquote negative emotions, are only negative if you're not utilizing them in a positive manner. There's no such thing really as a negative emotion. Depression is merely just trying to alert you to to the direction that you're not moving in. It's trying to alert you that you're stuck. That's all it is. But you take it as a negative thing, so you say, I'm not supposed to be depressed. No, you are supposed to be depressed when you're not moving. You're stagnant for too long, right? Anger is a good thing because it gives you the fuel and energy to fight the challenge or the barrier, the enemy that's in front of you. Fear makes you alert, gives you the adrenaline, which puts you on your heels, which gives you a heightened sense of things, right? You know, they say that if you no longer have nervousness and competition, a lot of time that's when an athlete, even the greatest athletes, start to lose their edge, when they start to lose some of that fear. When they lose any sense of fear, any sense of nervousness, they lose that edge, right? But you that competitors know that. Competitors understand that and know that, right? Let's see. Not parts of fear or focus, but harness and embrace when it comes. Marjane says, I just think overly fixating on famine out of being a realistic is an ideal use of energy. See, Marjane, she brought in a different aspect. She said being overly fixated, but no one said overly fixated. No one said overly anything. See, you shouldn't when you're having a dialogue and a conversation with somebody. A lot of people make this mistake. It's that's why our communication is so on the fritz in this world, is because when someone says a thing that has truth to it, right, and someone's arguing against it, and a person starts to prove that, you know, the truth, the realness and the truth to what they're saying, what some people will do is say, especially when it comes to like negative, anything that's like a negative statement, they'll say like, you know, overly this, you shouldn't overly do this, or overly eat this, or overly go, you know, engage in this, or overly, right? But see, that's a disingenuous statement, because 9 times out of 8, the person never said overly do anything. They just said to do this, to think about this, to prepare for this. They mentioned, you know, in this case, let's say famine, to think about famine. But we all know I didn't say overly. I did not say overly, right? And we all know I didn't mean overly, right? So when communicating, you know, I teach my son these things. You know, it's important to be, you know, honest in our communications, right, and genuine. Graffiti says, I'm gonna head out early so I can get some good sleep tonight. I share Graffiti. Marjane, I hold so much gratitude for slow seasons. They bring rest and a chance to get back to my creative bag. I welcome that. That's fine, Marjane. That I'm glad that, you know, you can use the slow season for whatever you want to use them for. You can use it for whatever we want to use it for, but we're talking about specifically business. We're talking about business. For business, a lot of times, slow seasons is not a good thing. It's not a good thing, right? Or, you know, unless you prepare for it in a certain way, or if you are able to curb that slow season so it's not as slow, or if you can really maximize the good season. But see, let's look at companies today. They have always relied on Black Friday. They always relied on Christmas. I, as a business owner, especially when I started getting into retail, I never liked that idea. I was like, no, I don't want to rely on getting most of my money there. I mean, still, my biggest months will always be November and December, but I don't want them to be astronomically bigger than the rest of my months, because that creates a weakness. So I found ways to make my other months strong, and even have other months that might be similar in success to the Christmas times. And you know what happened? When COVID hit, when other economic, you know, when COVID hit, I never thought something like COVID would happen. When COVID hit, though, and Black Friday didn't hit like it used to hit, and Christmas didn't hit like it used to hit, my business, you know, was able to continue to stay strong, because I never relied on Christmas and whatnot anyway. Even though those were my most successful months, I didn't put all my stock into the Christmas time like most other companies do. They make big companies, especially most companies, make all their money in the Christmas time, Christmas season. And they was feeling themselves so much like, oh, we don't have to be strong the rest of the seasons. But you never know what might happen in the world. you know. And whenever you have a weakness, eventually that weakness will be exploited. And a lot of companies went out of business, and a lot of companies never recovered and are still going out of business, right? So you got to pay attention. I'm talking about pay attention to the lessons that, you know, the universe or the world is telling us, is teaching us, is teaching us. Peace, tribe, see tomorrow, share graffiti. Marginet says fear is false evidence appearing real, right? I would say that's the truth sometimes. Once again, that's a common term statement that's said. There's a lot of common things that are said, right? You know, when they talk about police officers and they try to say, you know what, it's not that big of a deal. It's not racism. It's just a few bad apples. And then that statement got really popular. It's just a few bad apples. Just a few bad apples. But then you listen to the whole, but there's more to that statement though. A few bad apples will spoil the whole bunch. Right? So fear, false evidence appearing real. If you have fear and you're out in the woods with your child camping and a bear comes by and you are fearful, is that false evidence appearing real? Or is that real fear? Because if you're in the ocean, right? And let's say you're on a yacht with your friends and y'all in the ocean and you're jumping in the water and someone's like, I'm not jumping in the water, it could be sharks in the water. They're like, oh, that's fear, false evidence appearing real. But then a shark comes by, you know, and gobbles somebody up, which happens, you know. So fear is not, it can be false evidence appearing real, but that's not the reality all the time. So I'm just comfortable being optimistic. Yes, I understand, imagine that you are comfortable, right? And comfort can sometimes be, you know, the death to growth. It's always worked out and always will. What's to be afraid of? There's plenty to be afraid of. There's plenty to be afraid of, right? You know, I bet you're gonna put a seatbelt on when you're driving. Why? Because of the fear of what would happen if you didn't and you got into an accident. Now, you may call it something else, but, you know. So I don't want to allow fear to inform my decisions and actions. Well, then, if you're not allowing fear to inform you, then there's a part of yourself you're ignoring. Fear is just as much of a part of you as happiness and joy and excitement. I've gotten plenty of downloads being happy and joyful and peaceful and excited. I've gotten just as many downloads being depressed and sad and fearful and angry and spiteful. Because I don't ignore one part of myself because I'm uncomfortable with it. I'm just as comfortable with the negative emotions as I am with the positive emotions. Because they're both me. Why would I ignore either side? Why would I want to run away from either side? Why would I only be comfortable with one side or the other? That's the yin and yang, right? We all talk about balance until it's time to be balanced. Then we want to ignore certain parts. When it's uncomfortable, we'll ignore the dark or we'll ignore the light. When it's uncomfortable, we'll ignore the other side of things. We'll ignore the quote unquote evil, the villain, and only pay attention to the hero, right? Or the good. That's how you get things like the Spanish Inquisition. That's how you get the expansion of the Catholic Church, wiping out millions and millions of indigenous people, of European people, the Salem witch trials, all in the name of God. But because no one wanted to question it, or a lot of people didn't want to question it, they didn't want to question the good. They only wanted to see the good in things. They only wanted to see the light. They went along with it and killed and tortured so many people because they wanted to ignore this other side of themselves that says doubt. They ignored their doubt, they ignored their fears, they ignored their guilt. Same thing happened with the Nazis. They ignored the doubt, they ignored their fears, they ignored their guilt. They ignored their negative emotions. Their negative emotions was highlighting the the detriment of their actions, but they ignored them. And that's how history keeps being repeated. Marginet says, one lesson that the universe has taught me is that it provides. It also takes away. I don't know if you know that, Marginet. Because anything that's given also has to be taken. That's the balance. That's the ebb and flow. It can't just provide. It has to take away. Remember, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is only transformed. It's only transferred. So if it gets given to one, it has to be taken from another. And then when it's taken from you, it's given to another. That's how energy, that's the laws of energy. All right. So we're not talking about bears and sharks, brother gods. We're talking about money with currency and energy. A fearful energy around money is a recipe for disaster. That's not true. There's plenty of people who are very fearful, very cheap, very have a very powerful scarcity mindset when it comes to money, and they make millions and billions of dollars. The type of money that plenty of abundant people that I know will never make, have never make, won't even get close to making. In fact, some of the most fearful people make some of the most money because they are so diligent and so specific and detailed about how they run their operation. Right? It's like people who are like OCD, people who are afraid of germs. See, understand also in conversation to help get a point across, you create analogies. We're not talking about bears, we're not talking about sharks. No, but bears and sharks are still energy. So even when you talk about money, you're talking about energy. So when I talk about bears and sharks, I'm giving you another example of how energy transforms and how we operate with it. Don't get caught up on the fact that it's a bear, that it's a shark. Just understand it's another form of energy, no different than the money. They are both energy and nothing more, nothing less. They are both vibration, nothing more, nothing less. They both operate under the same laws of attraction and repulsion, nothing more, nothing less. So understanding that concept, that's why I brought them into the equation, because it's a simpler way to understand how energy can work. Because remember, money is, because its effect on you is more indirect, it can be kind of difficult to really imagine its effects. So that's why I use more direct forms of energy in bears and sharks, right? But we don't have to use that. We can use anything. For instance, if you you can have a positive mindset, but if you pick up a crystal that is being cursed by a very powerful, witch, your positive mindset is not going to save you. It could, it's possible, but it's also possible that you may be possessed and that you may end up being contracted with that negative energy now. Yeah, you're saying embrace imagining. I get it. You should embrace fear as well, is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you to invite the fear, invite the depression, invite the sadness. I'm telling you to embrace those things just as much as you embrace everything else. That's all that I'm saying. You keep using physical danger. Whether it's a money danger or physical danger, it's all energy, so it's all the same. Explain to me how physical danger is different than money danger. Are they both not energy? If they're both not energy, then let me know what the money energy is and what the shark and bear thing is not. Like, explain to me what. The OCD be the first ones to catch any germ that they come into contact with. The OCD people have the cleanest houses. I don't understand how that works, right? It's the OCD that creates the cleanliness in like a hospital, right? People who are like overly detail oriented in any particular field end up being the ones who people hire, who have like a OCD type of mindset, but for other things as well, whether it's doing accounting or whatever it is. Those type of people are the ones who end up creating the most effective and powerful methods of running any particular part of a company or business. That's actually how the most efficient systems are created, by OCD type of people. Just something to keep in mind. The wealthy people I've encountered all took risks. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Welcomed downturns, knew how to pivot, brave hearts. Right, that's also true. That does not change the fact that they were not worried. If you like read their stories, if you ever read some of their books, they will tell you about how fearful they were at certain points, how fearful they were into doing it sometimes, how fearful they were into into certain seasons when things switch to this or switch to that. How they were worried about certain things. So then when they got worried, they changed this or they switched to that or they prepared for that. If you read some of their stories or actually listen to some of their podcasts or listen to some of their interviews, they'll tell you all about their fears. They'll tell you all about their fears, right? That doesn't mean you don't take risks. See, now you're bringing a different element. I never would tell anybody not to take a risk, right? As far as that they welcome the downturns, I don't know what you mean by welcoming the downturns. They didn't welcome them and say, it's okay for it to be down. They actually tried to find ways to keep it from going down. They tried to find ways to not have downturns or to minimize them as much as possible. The ones who, and then there are plenty of those who say, yeah, downturns are fine. But once again, did you pay attention to the lesson that I gave you? Or are you trying to just combat what I'm saying? Remember how many people, how many companies went out of business due to COVID? Ask that question to yourself. And why did they go out of business? The majority of them went out of business because they could only make money. They could only make profits. Let me change that. They could only make their profits during Christmas and Black Friday. And COVID messed that up. And because they never prepared for the possibility, because they never had a fear, because they lost their fear. Blockbuster lost its fear. Right? They had an opportunity to buy Netflix before it became streaming. They had an opportunity. They didn't take the opportunity because they had no fear. They said, we're good. We're already the big guys on the block. We don't need them. Where is Blockbuster today? That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to give you real world examples that are not, that's dealing with money, dealing with business. I'm talking about business. When you lose fear and nervousness, I told you about this with athletes. Same thing in business. When you lose that, you lose your edge. And when you lose your edge, you end up getting blindsided. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to teach you. All right? That's what I'm trying to teach people who want to run successful businesses. There's a need for fear to avoid. There's a need to fear and avoid physical danger. True. There is no need to fear loss of currency. There is, because if certain companies had that fear, they wouldn't have went out of business. The crash in 2008, another example, where the real estate companies and the markets had no fear about crashing. And then what happened? They kept selling their bad products, and eventually it crashed and companies went out of business, and there had to be a bailout, but there was still plenty of thousands of people lost their jobs, lost their homes, because there was no fear. There was no fear. If you watch The Big Short, watch the movie The Big Short, everyone was just positive. You could get a house here easy. People selling houses, they were just making money. People were getting houses that shouldn't be getting houses. People were just winning. No fear. Economy crashes. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Fear is just as important in currency and money as it is when it comes to physical danger. All right. I don't know how many more examples I would need to give, but I think I've made my points. Right. But it was a good back and forth, right? It was good back and forth. I enjoyed it. My Janae has another thing to say. All the businesses that went away during COVID were created by people who can create more businesses. Okay. I just think things have a natural end date that we should accept, and the birth of the new creations. That's cool to say, my Janae. That's cool to say. But it's not that easy to just start another multi-million-dollar business. You don't just go start one overnight. A lot of people unalive themselves because of big companies going down. In fact, you can say that, the people whose business went during COVID, they create more businesses. Do you know it's not cynicism, it's reality. If you're going to ignore people's experiences, then that's really narcissistic actually, because you don't feel for the other people who actually went through pain. There's billionaires and millionaires who you know, when stock market crashes happen and when businesses go bankrupt, that they actually unalive themselves. They actually jump out of windows. They don't say, "Oh, I built a big business. Oh, I built all this wealth. I'll just go do it again." There's some that do that, and then there's some that don't. There's some that can't even handle that type of failure, right? So, and then there's so many people who had those jobs that go homeless because of that. Because they're unable to pivot because they were relying on that 50-year company, 100-year company, 200-year company. They were relying on that company. And the thing that makes a being say, I've been with this company for 50, this company's been established for 125 years. I've been at this company for 20 years. They're not gonna prepare to go to another company or prepare just in case. They're not. The only time they prepare is if they have the fear that that company could possibly, for whatever reason, go under. That's the only time people get motivated to then to leave a sure thing. That's the only time people get motivated to leave a sure thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you, my Janae. But if you're not going to pay attention to human nature and you only want to live in your own bubble and reality, then, you know, and you're not trying to help other people in what's real and what's actual and what's been documented and what's been experienced and what's been seen, right? You know, then that's a religious mindset. You can't get out of your own belief system. You created a religion and you can't get out of it. You only believe this thing and you are ignoring other people's experiences. My Jeanette says, I'm kind of detached. I have an Aquarius moon, but I'm actually empathize greatly with all. I just want to encourage those who tried and lost it all to try again. I mean, that's great to encourage them, but we're not talking. My subject is not about encouraging those who have lost it to try again. That'll be another time. In fact, I don't even really do that anymore. I allow motivational speakers and inspirers to do that, right? There's plenty of pages and people that do that, right? They don't need me to be another person that does that. No, instead, I'm coming from a different angle and saying, hey, to try to best avoid losing it all, do this, right? I'm just focusing on a totally different part of the equation. I'll show you. So I think now we're finished. So I think we came to some sort of understanding here. So we'll go ahead and say Ashe, Asante, and Amen. Ime Kamalika, it is done. We'll see you tomorrow.